So Harrison Price from the historic Wall Center. Welcome in, the Director of Content for Elite Prospects. They have their new top 50 draft rankings out and available. It's our buddy Cam Robinson. How are you?
I'm doing well, boys.
Looking very festive
here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for dressing the set. That is quite an impressive tree there at the Robinson
We
family.
should probably start to put our colors up and our garland.
I think we're a little late,
We're a little
Blake.
late.
Like, it's December 17th. Like,
Yeah.
we've got a week here.
We'll do a strong
Catch-up
week
time.
push. Yeah.
There you go. I respect that.
What did you make of the game last night?
That was fun, hey? Kiefer Sherwood show. Kid could have had 5 last night easily.
The whole
He
thing was fun, though, wasn't it?
Right?
The whole thing was fun.
fun. Yeah, it was. You know, you stop short of saying a dismantling, but a really. We've been talking about it all year. Is that we've been waiting for them to have a full 60-minute game, and now, you know, granted, they squeaked that one out with a minute left or whatever it was to break the shutout for Demko. Which, by the way, I saw some people complaining that the Avs shouldn't have pulled the goalie down 3-0 there. I like a little gamesmanship like that. Who knows? Maybe these teams got to meet each other in the playoffs one day. They don't want Demko thinking that he's got their number. So sneak one past him there. But overall, you know, it's a strong two-way game from the whole team. Other than that top line by Vancouver kind of got cratered against the McKinnon line. Everybody else was above water. And then Sherwood, heck of a game. And props to that pro scouting staff there in Vancouver. They found some gems.
Yeah, I was going to say, what did they see that others missed here, Cam? Because this is, you know, Patrick Avine at the end of last year said, we got to find us the next Dakota Joshua. I think they found better in Kiefer Sherwood.
Man, he's just a wrecking ball out there too, but not too many guys can outskate Cale Makar on that PK breakaway. The wheels were just churning. So much energy, right? The hitting the body, taking the body every opportunity, and then kind of that untapped goal scoring. So, you know, I'm sure Nashville is just kicking themselves for letting this guy get away from them. Even, you know, it wasn't much money that I feel that the difference that they wanted to get him in at and what he was asking for was negligible, and they decided to walk away from the table. So again, kudos to that pro scouting staff to identify this is a player that has some more runway ahead of him offensively and that element, you know, to lead the NHL in hits and all that energy and enthusiasm and it's great. It's been a heck of a find for Vancouver.
And the best part about it is that he's just consistent. Like, I don't know that you have to call on him to find himself. The hits are always there. He hasn't got, Jeff had the stat, hasn't got more than 4 or 5 games all season long without contributing a goal. I mean, he's just always hanging around. It's pretty predictable, and coaches love that, don't they?
Absolutely, right? Someone that you can just hang your hat on. You know, when he's out there, he's going to be, you know, have the right details to his game. He's not going to give up chances against. He's going to bang and then chipping in with some offense. Like, you kill for that player on your third line for most organizations. And so for him to be able to move around the lineup and invigorate different lines when they're not going to, it's found money for sure.
Can he get to 25 goals? And I asked 25 because Burroughs was the guy who got beyond 25 goals. Yannick Hansen couldn't quite get to 25 goals, but he gives me both of those vibes. What says you?
I'll take the under on 25 just because that's a tough mark to hit. But I mean, if we're taking it as of today, he's on pace for, if not 25, darn close, 23, 24. So, you know, he could keep this up and he could get there. I'll take 20. You get him 20 goals and everybody's happy with that, I think.
All right, cool. Okay, on to bigger fish here. The story of the week. If it's coming down to Elias Pettersson and J.T. Miller and whether or not they can coexist, Cam, if it was up to you and the Canucks have to make a decision on one guy or the other here, who should they go with and why?
It's not even a question. The one guy just turned 26. The other guy's going to turn 32 this year. Yeah, the money is a little different. Petey's making some more cash. But I mean, for the last 2+ years, the guy's been a 90, 95+ point player, you know, over 82 games. When Miller was that age, he was a 55, 60 point player. So there's loads left for Pettersson the runway. When he's going, he is an elite player. And at his age, you do not move that. And if you do move that player, you sure as hell better be getting something real in return. Like I know we all saw Elliot Friedman talking about that Dylan Cousins and Bo Byram deal. That's a instant reject in my mind. Is that it's just one of those trades that you are so the opportunity for you to get burned is so high there that you can't consider a play like that. If it's Buffalo, it's better be Rasmus Dahlin. You want to talk to me about Tage Thompson, bringing his name up there as a main piece coming back? I'll listen. But I'm probably still not making that deal unless they want to maybe attach their first rounder or something crazy like that. You don't move a player like Pettersson with all he can give, the super high offensive upside, the two-way game, the age. It's just, he's such a unique player. His skill level is so high. And I get it that if you're talking about impact this very moment in a playoff series, who do I want, Miller or Pettersson? I'll take JT right now. But you can't make decisions like that. You can't look at it in a vacuum and we need this player right now. It's that if they can't coexist, sorry, JT, it's got to be you just because of your age. And that's just the way it goes.
We've said that, hey, players can not be besties and still play on the same team. And for heaven's sakes, they don't even play together. They're not line mates. Although they do play together on one part of the game, or at least they did.
Do they?
What? Honestly, they're not doing themselves any favors from the PR standpoint by separating JT Miller on the power play. And frankly, Cam, just even from a hockey perspective, I'm sorry, I cannot wrap my head around how that gives you a better chance to win the hockey game.
I hate when teams split up their top power play unit into two equal parts, and then we'll run them each out there.
They've never done this either.
It doesn't work. It never works. Like we see Pittsburgh, that they're desperately in there, in the free fall, and they're like, oh, we'll split up Sid and Gino on the power play. Maybe that'll work. Maybe we'll get Letang and Carlson split up. Vancouver, it's like you load it up and you run them out there for 90 seconds and you get them so they're clicking. It's like you said, players don't have to be best friends in the room or off ice. They don't even have to like each other on the ice, but they need to be able to work together on the ice, even if it's just on the power play. Like that, there's no way that it's gotten, I personally believe that it's gotten so bad that they can't even be on the top power play unit together. That'd be insane divide in the dressing room, right?
Yeah.
Help me out. Tactically, what's the case for doing that, Cam? Like, what do you think they're trying to achieve by moving them, by splitting them?
Honestly, like I guess you're looking at maybe getting us, pardon me, the second PK unit is not going to match up as well against your second power play unit that's supposed to be 1.5 or whatever you want to call it. That's the only thing, or to just mess up the other team's structure against you because they can't. But having all your options on one unit, then they can't key in on one guy, right? When you split them up,
they're a
90-second
power. That's a 90-second first power play unit. Like they're so you're saying JT, here's 24 seconds of power play. Like it's ridiculous.
No, it makes no sense to me, and I can't believe that it's going to last at all. Like maybe they're going to justify it as like, oh, we're just easing JT back in, but the guy he's still playing 17 minutes a night, right? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's something specific against Colorado that they saw that they thought we could take advantage of by splitting them on the power play. But I will defer to you all and your righteous indignation on this. Max Sassin. What have you made of his progress?
He's a details guy, right? He does the right things, dare I say, the little things. In his limited minutes there, seeing 9 or 12 minutes a night. Again, like I mentioned, playing with Pettersson there, that line was well above water on the shots for and the Corsi rating. I think they were like 80% last night. So as a unit, he does well to get the puck to the players that need to get the puck and then get it on net. Pettersson had hit that post. He had that one off the goalie mask. He had another high danger chance later in the game, came up empty, but he was getting some looks there. And I think Max Sassin, just as a player who can do some digging, defensively responsible, skates well. He's not a top 6 player and shouldn't be thought of as such, but to slide into a role in a top 6 line or something like that at times, it's not the end of the world, but it's a great story for him. Just, the path that he's taken and it's nice to see him, and especially the other day getting his first goal too. It's a great story and I hope it keeps building, but on a championship level team, he should be down on your fourth line or be a depth player.
He's not a top 6 player, but there was yet another sequence last night in the first period where he is part of a creative offensive play in the first period and just has a comfort about him carrying the puck in the offensive zone. And Tocchet has been very big on this, right? Can he hang on to pucks? Like, can the game slow down to him to the point where, it's not a panicked decision. It's not a immediate, I have to do something with the puck, but stop, take a look, survey the surroundings and do something constructive. And game after game, I'm seeing that from young Sassin. And that's the sort of thing that's an NHL player, right? As opposed to the guy who gets the puck and treats it like a grenade.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I mean, this isn't a player who hasn't put up points in the past, right? He has been a first power play guy. He knows how to handle himself, but it is really unique to see someone who doesn't have that skill level to translate into being a top 6 player in the NHL, still be able to bring along that calm confidence when he does have the puck, like you mentioned. And that is going to, really serve him well in staying in the league.
Mm-hmm. Heck, even guys like Kiefer Sherwood, outside of a breakaway there, like often it's a backdoor play where Sherwood's getting into the right position, just tipping pucks in.
Yeah,
Sassin doesn't mind actually having the puck on his stick and creating plays. It's different.
Fair. Like as great as Sherwood's been, like he's not much of a puck carrier.
No,
right?
No.
Whereas Sassin has that to his game. Are you done on the Canucks in the game last night?
Yeah, we can.
I have a very big question to ask.
By all means.
Here we go.
Well, no, just relying on all your great prospect intel from around the world, Cam Robinson. But, and I'm not even sure I'm going to get the kid's name right, but who is Basil Sassin? Who is Basil
Sansonens
of the Swiss World Junior team, Canucks 7th round pick from last year?
He is a defenseman. He's 6'2". He was a pretty high pick in the CHL import draft there. I think he was top 30 or right around 30 going to the Q. Was expected to go back and play pro at home this year, but instead decided to come out to the Q and play in North America here. He's a defensive player. He is kill penalties, block out the net front, block shots, move the puck. He has an effective first pass. I like his first pass. I think his skating is fine. It's projectable. He's not a burner by any means, but it's projectable to be NHL level. But I was talking about a details guy. He's a details guy. He's got a good stick. He clogs up lanes. He knows how to retrieve the puck and just make a play quickly without, if he's under duress. But there's not a lot of offense there. There's not a lot of stretch passes there. There's not a lot of creativity there. He's going to go to the World Juniors and he's going to be a meat and potatoes guy. He'll probably see some good minutes though. He's played internationally with them, and he, the U18s. And he sees 18, 19, 20 minutes a night. And so I expected him to be on this team despite his age. And he'll probably play kind of middle pairing minutes for them and hopefully be kind of mistake free because that's the type of player he is. And, as a 7th round pick, I know the Canucks they're interested. They like this player, that they think that this is one of those potential finds down the road if development goes the path that they're hoping.
He's in Rimouski in the queue.
I really wish you would have just answered. He's a defenseman.
He's a defenseman. Yeah.
Just
solid analysis.
Hey, Sawyer Mynio, Kamloops' Sawyer Mynio, the Canucks prospect on Team Canada. I know he played some with Zane Parekh in the tune-up games, the terrific young right shot power play quarterback that the Flames drafted, but he got cut. Who do you see Mynio playing with at the World Juniors?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do with their lineup there, right? Like, we'll see if he ends up with Schaefer or how they mix and match the right and lefties on that one. But I do expect that he's going to play some substantial minutes for them. They brought him along, him and Andrew Gibson, to do a certain role, and that role is to be punishing on opponents. And so Mynio, he's got a nasty streak to him. He's not afraid to lay the body. He's not afraid to lay the lumber into the lower back at the net front or behind the net. So he's going to be there to make life hard on the opposition. And that is what his role is going to be on this team. And so I expect him to do that role and probably do it well, especially if he can stay out of the box with that IHF referees in town. But a great feather in his cap. He's basically been tagged to be on this team going, back to last summer at the evaluation camp where he really impressed. And Team Canada, they like to kind of mix and match, right? It's not an all-star team, as we can see. No Zane Parekh, because on a skill level, it's night and day between a player like him and Andrew Gibson or Sawyer Mynio. But he's there because he's going to play a role. He's going to kill penalties. He's going to clear the net front. He's going to move the puck effectively if he can.
Do you think? But I often don't understand Dave Cameron coached teams.
Do you think Bedard and Celebrini get released for the tournament?
Maybe Zach Benson too. Hey, just load them all up. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something?
Like, wouldn't you just as a coach? Wouldn't you just be like walking up? This is the B team, by the way. Just shake the hand of the guy that you're facing. We would run roughshod with those 3 guys as the top line. Would we not? Like, what would that look like?
It would be ridiculous. It would be so much fun to see it. It's unfortunate these players are like, no, we're NHLers now. We're not going back to play juniors. And of course they are NHLers and they would dominate. But man,
but they're on non-playoff teams. They're on a non-playoff team, so they could just do it.
Guys, Macklin Celebrini was an NHLer at age 16. No, but like the detail, and talk about being a details guy, like Macklin is one of the most intelligent young players that has come into the league in an awfully long time. There are stories about him getting on Cole Yzerman for defensive detail way back at Shattuck's when they there was a time where he just blew up at Yzerman and basically told coach, I don't want to play with him until he gets better defensive detail. Like, that's the degree of leader. He is everything that Taves and Yzerman were in their careers. And then lastly, I mentioned your top 50 prospects. You have Schaefer, the Canadian defenseman, number one. You missed the meeting, and your colleagues go behind your back and put James Higgins first overall. Is that how the EP rankings worked here, Cam? That's my intel, at least.
Yeah, you got good intel. You got good ear to the ground there. Yes, I was coaching and I had to miss the meeting. It kills me. I very rarely miss these things because it's so much fun. Like, it's often we're sitting there for 3 or 4 hours banging this thing out, and I'm hammering the table and having a good time. So before knowing I was going to miss it, I wrote a novel into our Slack channel, being like, here is why Matthew Schaefer should be one. And I get it. Like, Higgins is 2 on my board. I think he's going to have a great World Juniors. He's going to reestablish himself as a legitimate, probably the most dynamic offensive player in the draft, and should be a consideration at 1 there. But I'm like, look at Matt Schaefer. This kid's the youngest player in the draft, plays a unique position. He is so poised and talented, and to be a number 1 defenseman versus someone who's maybe going to be a 5'11" center, that's tough to be a top line center at that size. Maybe he's a really good number 2 Higgins. So for me, it's still Matty Schaefer, but I got to go with the team, the consensus. So we still got Higgins at 1 for now. We do another board in January, and I'll be there for that one.
The youngest player in the draft, so he's got another year of development basically on somebody else in the draft. That is
Higgins.
Crazy.
He's like 10 months younger than Higgins, 11 months even. It's close.
That is a very important metric. It is one that the baseball scouts are looking more and more at when they evaluate the high school versus college players. And Cam, speaking as someone who has written a novel for his colleagues when he had to miss something and been totally ignored, I feel you, buddy.
He writes a lot of novels.
Yeah.
They're all...
I'm a good novelist.
It's like when I had to take a TOC day of teaching. I'm basically doing the whole day anyways. You got to write out all. I might as well show up. I might as well just show up.
4 important letters for both of you.
Yeah.
TLDR.
Yeah, TDR. You have a Merry Mary. We'll miss you next week. We'll catch up from the World Juniors in Ottawa in a couple of weeks, Cam.
Sounds good, fellas. Take care. Enjoy the holidays.